Hello, my name's Toby Thompson. I'm here today with David Grayson, Professor of Corporate Responsibility here at Cranfield. David, you've written a book, which has rave reviews, I must say, Take Care, How to Be a Great Employer for Working Carers. Amazing title. Tell us more about the book.
Well, hopefully the book does what it says on the tin. So this is a book aimed principally at employers, public sector, private sector, large, small, all around the world, who would like to understand why should they take care of their employees who are juggling their job and looking after a loved one. And looking after a loved one may be an elderly parent, or it may be a partner with a long-term health condition, or it might be a disabled son or daughter or sibling. But what we are really interested in, or I'm trying to communicate in the book, is why this makes sense for employers to include this as part of their diversity and inclusion strategies, to make this part of being an agile workforce, an agile organisation. And I use examples from around the world of how employers already are approaching these issues and organising themselves to be a great employer for their working carers.
Two questions then, because it sounds as though you answered one of them by saying, well, why did you write it? It sounds like you've got a reason for writing it. And what's the purpose of it? What do you want people to do as a result of that?
Well, I wrote the book for three main reasons. First of all, as you said, I'm Professor of Corporate Responsibility here in Cranfield. Part of my job is to keep advancing what is the responsible business agenda. And a key part of being a responsible organisation is being a responsible employer. And I think this is increasingly an integral part of what it means to be a responsible employer, that you take care of your working carers. With ageing populations around the world, with many more governments having to cut back on paid for social care services, this is going to become a much more pressing issue. So that's the first reason. Secondly, I chair a big UK charity called Carers UK, and one of our big challenges is to get across to many more carers at an earlier stage that they are a carer. Because most people just think they're looking after a loved one, as a son or daughter or whatever. So actually getting to carers who are in the workplace is a great channel to reach many more of those carers. And actually we know the challenge of working and caring is a very big one, and significant numbers of people will leave the labour market because they don't feel that they can any longer handle both their job and their caring. And if we can help more people to stay in the labour market, that actually is a win-win-win, actually. And the third reason why I wrote the book is a much more personal one. For most of my time at Cranfield, I have also been a carer. I first of all helped my mum to look after my dad, and then he died, and then I was involved in looking after my mum up in Sheffield until she died. So I have actually lived through the issues that I'm talking about, and so I feel very personally passionate also that if you can be a great employer for working carers, it is a win-win-win.
So you've got some rave reviews, as I mentioned before, on this book. As a result of it, how do you see employers doing something different? What different policies, what practices should they be putting in place?
Well, first of all, for many organisations, it's going to be thinking, gosh, this is part of what we should be doing in terms of diversity and inclusion, in terms of making ourselves a more agile organisation, part of being a responsible organisation. So it's raising awareness that this is a legitimate part of what it is to be a responsible organisation. It's encouraging organisations to identify who their working carers are, to consult with them on what would make a practical difference. We know from carers organisations around the world many of the things that do make a difference, and some of them are low ticket items. It can be something as simple as being allowed to keep your mobile phone with you on the shop floor if you're expecting a call from a hospital or from a GP or from family members who are involved with you in the care of a loved one. It's looking at your existing human resources policies and seeing, are they carer-proofed? In other words, do they help if we have a flexible working policy, or if we have a leave scheme, can those be used to help carers? And then it's also thinking, are there some specific carer policies that we might have? A lot of the organisations that I've interviewed around the world have a carers network, rather like they have a women's network or an LGBT network or a network for their disabled employees, where the employees themselves can share their experiences and good practice. And very often, if you've come to the end of your caring journey, one of the things that a lot of former carers want to do, and I guess I'm in this position myself, is to share a lot of the experiences that we've had. In my role as Chairman of Carers UK, I keep meeting people who say, if only I'd known at the beginning all the things I know now about caring, how much easier my life would have been. And one of the things that employers can do is to provide advice and information, particularly through a carers network that can put out the word and you can have peer support. And some organisations are also having specific carer leave arrangements, so you don't have to use up all of your holiday entitlement in hospital appointment visits or in other caring responsibilities, because obviously it's very important for the carer to keep resilient and to keep their own health good, so that they don't actually get into a situation where they can no longer care for their loved one.
So it sounds like you're saying to employers, you need to take care of those that are taking care.
Absolutely.
Brilliant. David Grayson, thank you very much for your time today.
Toby, thank you.
I recommend the book, Take Care by David Grayson.